You can be deeply in love with someone and still feel, in small moments, like you are living next to a glass wall. You can see each other. You can touch. You can share a home. And yet a simple sentence can land wrong. A joke can fall flat. A fight can turn strange, not because the feeling is not real, but because the words are carrying different weight in different bodies. That is the quiet surprise of loving across languages. It is not only about translation. It is not only about vocabulary. It is about how a life gets stored inside a language. And when two lives meet, two languages meet, even if you both speak the same shared language in daily life. In many intercultural couples, there is a story that looks cute on the surface. A misunderstanding that becomes a funny moment. A playful mistake at a traffic light. A warm laugh that saves the mood. We like those stories because they feel light. But under the light story, there is a deeper question that almost no one asks out loud. What happens when the person closest to you is also the person you cannot fully express yourself to, not in the way your nervous system first learned to express? The surface concept is simple. Different languages carry different emotional weight. People often think a language is a tool, like a spoon, you pick it up and use it. But a first language is not only a tool. It is also a childhood. It is a room you grew up in. It is the sound of being comforted. It is the sound of being corrected. It is the sound of being praised. It is the sound of being scolded. So when you say a loving phrase in your first language, your body may feel it before your mind explains it. The words have history. They have faces attached. They have moments attached. When you say the same loving phrase in a second language, you may still mean it. You may mean it fully. But it can feel lighter inside you. Not less true. Just lighter. Like a note played on a different instrument. This is where curiosity starts. Because many couples think love should feel the same in any language if the love is real. They think the language is only a wrapper. But the wrapper is not neutral. It can change the taste. It can change the heat. It can change how fast the feeling reaches the heart. And the hidden problem is that couples often do not notice this until they are already confused. One partner thinks I said the loving words, why do you look unsure? The other partner thinks I heard the words, why does it feel like it did not land? Then both people start filling the gap with stories. Maybe you do not care. Maybe you are cold. Maybe I am too sensitive. And the gap grows, not because of a big betrayal, but because of a small mismatch in emotional weight. Now the second insight is even more tricky, because it hides inside everyday fun. Humor. Humor is like a secret handshake. If you get it, you belong. If you do not get it, you feel outside the circle for a moment. In one language, you can be quick. You can be playful. You can turn a small moment into a shared laugh without trying. In another language, you may suddenly feel slower. You may feel like you are holding a heavy box while walking. You are thinking about grammar while trying to be funny. You are searching for the right word while the moment passes. And if you miss the timing, the joke dies. Then you feel a small sting. Not only because the joke failed, but because a piece of you did not arrive. Many people do not realize how much identity sits inside humor. The jokes you grew up with. The silly phrases your family used. The old songs and old shows that make you laugh for reasons you cannot fully explain. The small cultural habits like sarcasm, teasing, understatement, exaggeration. These are not just entertainment. They are how you signal closeness. So when a couple does not share that background, they can still love each other deeply, but they may lose a certain easy closeness that laughter gives. And what makes it even harder is the false hope that explanation will fix it. It will not. Explaining a joke usually kills the joke. So, the partner who does not get it may feel embarrassed. The partner who explains may feel tired. Both may quietly stop trying. And then something small becomes a pattern. One partner becomes the funny one. The other becomes the polite listener. That is not fair, and it is not true, but it can feel true in daily life. You start to believe I am less funny, or you start to believe my partner does not really know me. The hidden assumption here is painful. Many couples assume that if we love each other, we should understand each other easily. But understanding is not a reward for love. It is a skill built over time. Especially across languages. The skill is not only speaking clearly. It is also receiving gently. It is learning to ask, "What did you mean?" before you decide what you heard. It is learning to pause when your pride wants to rush. Because pride hates confusion. Pride wants a fast story. Pride says I should not have to ask. Pride says if I ask, I look small. But in intercultural love, asking is not weakness. Asking is respect. Asking is the bridge. Now we come to the third insight, the one that shapes everything, even when no one is talking about it. Power. There is always power in a shared language choice. Even when a couple feels equal in love, the language can quietly tilt the table. The partner speaking in their first language often has speed. They have ease. They have extra energy. They can argue faster. They can defend themselves faster. They can joke faster. They can explain faster. Meanwhile, the other partner may be doing double work. They are feeling the emotion and also translating the emotion. They are trying to stay calm and also searching for words. They may want to say something nuanced, but the nuance is expensive in a second language. So they choose simpler words. And then they sound flatter than they feel. And then the first language partner thinks this is not a big deal, why are you not saying more? And the second language partner thinks I am exhausted, and you cannot see it. This power difference becomes obvious in conflict. In a fight, speed looks like strength. But speed is not always strength. Sometimes speed is just comfort. And comfort can become unfair without anyone meaning it. There is also another layer. Some languages have higher status in the world. This is not a moral fact. It is a social fact. When a couple chooses a global language, it can open doors. It can help with work. It can help with travel. It can help with daily life in certain places. But it can also quietly push the other language to the side. Not because the couple hates it, but because the world rewards one language more than the other. Over time, one partner may feel like their language becomes a hobby instead of a home. They may feel like they are always visiting their own language, not living in it. And when that happens, the relationship can start to feel like it sits more inside one person's world than the other. Then there is the environment. When you live in one country, one partner is at home in the public world. They can make phone calls. They can sign papers. They can talk to strangers without thinking. The other partner is always a little alert. Always listening harder. Always wondering, did I miss something? And that alertness costs energy. But when you travel to the other partner's country, the roles can flip. Suddenly the quiet partner becomes strong. Suddenly the confident partner becomes tired. This is the moment where many couples learn something important. The power was not personal. It was situational. It was built into language and place. If you never flip the environment, you might never see the full picture. Now we can reframe all of this with a new perspective. Intercultural love is not only hard because of misunderstanding. It is hard because it shows you that love is not only a feeling. Love is also a system. A small living system you build every day. Words are part of that system. Jokes are part of that system. Who explains things is part of that system. Who feels competent in public is part of that system. Who gets tired first in a fight is part of that system. And the surprise is that this system is not a problem to solve once. It is a garden to tend again and again. The good news is not that the challenges go away. The good news is that couples can build a microculture. A private culture that belongs to both of you. Not one person culture with the other person adjusting. A third space you create together. This is where the daily life application becomes real. Start with awareness, but not the kind of awareness that feels like a lecture. Simple awareness. Notice that a loving phrase might not land the same in both bodies. Notice that a harsh word might land much harder in one body than the other. Notice that humor can be an identity, not a decoration. Notice that speed in a fight might be language comfort, not moral rightness. Then make small choices that change the system. Build a shared love language that includes both languages, even in tiny ways. Use both languages for small daily rituals. A greeting. A nickname. A small phrase before sleep. A silly word you invent together that has no real translation. These invented words matter more than people think. They are proof that you are not just borrowing one culture. You are making something new. Also build shared humor on purpose. Not by forcing each other to laugh at old references, but by making new inside jokes that grow from your shared life. The same broken elevator you both hate. The same misheard phrase that keeps returning. The same strange neighbor. The same habit one of you has when stressed. These jokes do not require cultural background. They require shared time. And shared time is something you can protect. Even in small doses. Also build fairness in language power. If one person always translates, switch sometimes. If one person always handles public tasks, practice sharing. If fights always happen in one language, consider pauses. Consider time. You do not have to schedule a fight, but you can agree on one simple rule: when emotions run high, we slow down, we ask what did you mean, we do not rush to the worst story. And if you are the first language speaker, you can do something very loving. You can treat your partner's slower speech as effort, not as weakness. You can wait. You can leave space. You can notice that silence might be searching, not withdrawing. And if you are the second language speaker, you can do something brave. You can name the fatigue. You can say I need a moment to find the right words. That one sentence can change the whole room. Optional deepening is this. Intercultural relationships show a truth that applies to all relationships, even between people who share one language. We all carry different emotional dictionaries. Even in the same language. One person grew up hearing certain words as comfort. Another grew up hearing the same words as threat. One person thinks teasing means love. Another thinks teasing means danger. So the intercultural couple is not broken. They are simply living the truth more visibly. Their misunderstandings are not proof of failure. They are proof that love is more than chemistry. Love is also translation, patience, and shared invention. So if you take one idea from this, let it be this: the goal is not flawless communication, the goal is shared meaning, built slowly, with care, and with enough humility to ask again and again, when you speak to the person you love, are you trying to be understood quickly, or are you willing to build a language together that helps you both feel seen?